All right, hello guys.
Hello, welcome back. This is episode
Welcome back.
5.
Episode 5 of Hello Hello the podcast. Man, 5 weeks in.
Yeah.
How's your week been, Jenz?
Not too bad. Just plodding along, tired.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, always feeling tired and a little bit sleepy and stuff like that.
Pretty much.
Is there any I sort of want to try and see if we can do this as a recurring sort of thing at the start of every episode, but like what are the games that you've been playing recently and stuff like that, for the past week or so?
Oh yeah, we could do that. For me, I've checked out Control this week. That is free on the PlayStation Network for this month and also on the Game Pass if you wanted to check it out.
Wait, is it free on PlayStation?
So if you want it, grab it this month.
Yeah, shit, I might have to go and do that after this. Wow,
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't know how it's going
realize.
to run on PS4. I know you have a PS5, but for those, just a heads up. They are doing an update for the PlayStation 5, and apparently it looks amazing.
Okay.
So I'm
It was
really
already a
curious
pretty
about
good
that.
looking game from what I heard in the past, though.
Yeah,
already.
it is a really good looking game, but I just don't know how bad it is on PlayStation.
Yeah, okay.
What about
I'll
you?
have to check it out after this then. Not too much. A bit of a weird game that I've been playing, I guess. Euro Truck Simulator.
Oh, that's
Don't know why, but it's $7 on Steam. So we picked it up.
cheap.
Yeah, we were up to I think like 1 or 2 a.m. last night playing it. I don't know if for the video watchers, you can probably see the bags under my eyes right now, honestly. Yeah, just delivering a bunch of random things all over Europe.
Nice.
It's quite a cathartic game, honestly, though. Like
those driving games are usually pretty relaxing and satisfying, like SnowRunner to an extent.
Yeah, okay. I have wanted to check out SnowRunner and stuff like that.
I do recommend SnowRunner.
Yeah, okay. Might have to add it to the ever-growing list.
Yeah, I've been curious about
to
Euro
play and
Truck
check
Simulator for a while. I think I did it once.
Yeah, honestly,
maybe.
After go and buy it, it's $7 at the moment. Because, like I said, I reckon we can try and get a YouTube video out of it or something like that. Like do a sort of a themed playthrough of it where we dress up a little bit and things like that, and we can try and make a challenge out of it. I don't know.
Thing?
Yeah.
Yes. Okay.
So for those people that haven't already, make sure you sub to the YouTube and hit the little notification bell so that you're ready for when, that does some point come out in the near future. We're aiming to get some more gameplay videos out within the coming weeks, so keep your eyes peeled there. But yeah, I reckon it'd be pretty fun,
Yeah, I'm totally down.
Okay, all right. We'll have to plan something out then.
Yeah. I guess we should go into our topics, Because we got a big
that's sort of it for the
week.
intro. Yeah, we were looking before, not sure what to talk about, but we did find a fair bit. So strap in, because this might be a long episode. I'm not sure. We'll see. We can try and keep it as succinct as possible.
Yeah.
But did you want to start off with this week's first topic, I guess, Jenz?
I sure
can. This is your sort of, yeah.
So I just want to touch on this topic very quickly that Hitman 3 has been out for a bit.
Very quickly. I see what you did there.
What? Oh.
Speedrun, come on.
Let's speedrun this. I don't know. I'm not awake. So yeah, Hitman 3 has been out, and for the Dubai level, two people actually have
Wreck, it says, and Deloc Linus.
Yes, have managed to finish this mission in a whopping 9 seconds, which is
whopping the term? Is whopping the correct term? What's the opposite of whopping? I don't know.
Is the opposite of whopping? What is
let's
whopping?
Not get caught up on that.
Anyways,
whopping's usually massive, I think.
Oh right.
Is it not?
Oh, okay.
Huge?
I see what you mean. That it's not a good way to. Anyways, 9 seconds. 9 seconds. It's incredible. Okay.
Sorry. Yeah, no. 9 seconds is
Grammarly.
insane. 9 seconds is insane.
9 seconds is incredible. I mean, I wonder what the devs would have been like, have felt like once they find out. But
you know what? You're not wrong.
Someone made a really good point about it. Sorry.
I know the Hitman games, the levels, especially in the most recent ones, are meant to be touted as like being quite, sandboxy and open and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So it sort of goes against the whole grain of what the devs wanted when you can finish a level in 9 seconds, I feel. Because it's
Yeah,
sort of meant to take your time and explore a little bit and, figure out all the little nicks and,
totally. They definitely didn't
yeah.
see this coming, but
I don't think so, no.
But in Hitman, at least, once you finish the mission, it unlocks a new way to do the mission again. So it would be like another entry point. So it would have to have been, these people would have to have finished the level over and over to get to the particular spot that they needed to get
unlock
into. Yeah,
okay,
so
I see.
At least it's not like everyone can do this straight out of the bat when they
right
get
from
into
the get-go,
Dubai. Yeah.
Okay,
So that's not too bad. But
it is for the more experienced players, I guess, then, to get to that sort of point.
Yeah. And it's pretty impressive. I like speedrunners in general.
I've always had massive respect for speedrunners. Like, just the way that they can figure out how a game works and to sort of, like, exploit it to you just, like, blitz through a level and, in insane times. Like, not even just, like, they can finish entire games in, like, 7 minutes. Like, I've on Facebook, I've just scrolled through one morning and stuff like that. This is a couple of, years ago now. I was just scrolling through. I could honestly watch someone finish Portal 1, and I think it took them 7 minutes, I want to say.
Wow.
I watched the entire thing on Facebook. Like,
I mean, you
just
might
on
as
the video
well.
thing.
It's 7 minutes.
It was, honestly, like, just over breakfast. It took me, to watch someone, and it is insane how they can do it all.
It's crazy.
Yeah, I don't know how they do it. I wish I could be that sort of skilled, but
me too.
Unfortunately not. It's but that's that's the sort of, I guess we'll speed run through that first topic. See what it is. Speed run through that first topic. On to topic number 2.
Yes.
Google Stadia.
Yes.
This is a pretty, like, I could sort of have seen this coming because I know, at least out here in Australia, Stadia wasn't going to do too crash hot because of the way our network is sort of built.
For those who don't know what Stadia is, it was this thing that
it's like Netflix for video games.
Yeah, so you
think of it like that.
Netflix
for video games. Yeah.
So you had like this whole
basically
archive.
Stadia had these they had this whole server thing with they didn't have a whole archive though. It was only like a handful of games I think that were supported from the start. Yeah, it wasn't too many. And they were like relatively old games too. So Destiny 1 was on there. Destiny 2 was coming to it when that was released. There was a bunch of the I think Assassin's Creed games and stuff like that.
Yeah, right.
It wasn't too many games that were supported by it and things. So it was but no, onto the topic, I guess. But less than 2 years since its sort of inception of Stadia opening and things like that, Google had game development studios for it that were going to try and produce exclusive content for Stadia and stuff like that. So it wouldn't have come out on PlayStation, wouldn't have come out on PC. Right. It was just for the Stadia system and Stadia ecosystem. Oof. But they are now closing down those 2 studios.
Yikes.
Yeah. They had a studio in Los Angeles and another one in Montreal. Both are split between the 2 of them, about 150 employees across the 2 studios that are now. Yeah, that's the worst part about it. Is the fact that it wasn't clear if there were any direct layoffs from it. So we don't know if anyone's actually been fired or let go or anything like that. But Google did say that they are trying to move them into new roles in other Google,
within Google
sort of areas and things like that. Yeah, whether or not that's going to work is another question.
I wonder how well, obviously not well at all, but I wonder how much they sold. I can't remember what their price points was, because I never, obviously being in Australia, it was there's no point getting this.
Never, no.
So I never really looked into it, but
never, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, for people who already had consoles, because they came in 2 years ago, so PlayStation 4 and Xbox, they were great. Everyone had at least a console.
Everyone already had those consoles were already well into their life cycle. We only just got the Xbox Series X, whatever it's called, and PS5 this year. So they were 6 years into their 7-year life cycle and things like that.
Yeah. And I guess also with the prospect of getting the next gen console coming out a year after.
Yeah.
It's
Yep.
They did it at the worst time. Maybe.
Yeah,
even...
their timing was pretty poor, I think. You know, I don't ever see it, especially in Australia. You know, I don't ever see video game streaming being a reality. Not within the next, couple of years, at least maybe 10, 15 years down the line.
I mean, maybe.
But, having said that, tech does progress pretty quickly these days. It's just sort of up to, I guess, the infrastructure to be able to catch up with it. Because, like, Australia, up until recently, was using entirely copper. And we still are to a reasonable sort of degree. Like, between the node at the end of my street and my house, I still have a copper line. I don't have fiber or anything like that. So it's like...
Gotta get the fiber.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, it's really hard to get fiber here, and it's only really just very recently happening.
Yeah. And it's already out of date. It's already like, there's already faster things out there and stuff like that. So...
Yeah, I wonder if something like this will come back in the future when internet...
Well, I mean... They did say that they were still going to support Stadia itself. Like, there's no shutdowns for the greater Stadium system and things like that. And there were still, like, they did still say that they could still buy, the rights to, like, games that are being published or things like that to be Stadia exclusive.
Yeah.
That's still a thing that can happen. So they could still get Stadia exclusive games at some point in the future.
Yeah.
But who knows? Yeah, I don't see them. Especially, I don't know how much you know of Google's history, but they have a history of shutting down projects just willy nilly out of the blue. Like, they make something for 5 years and they shut it down 5 years later. Like, they shut down things a lot more. So I don't see them sort of holding onto this for too much longer. I don't think.
Yeah. Well, see you later, Stadia. Yes.
Yeah, it is what it is. They couldn't, they tried, and I guess they do have the tech there to sort of, I guess, pivot it and use it for other things.
That's true.
Because it could be pretty cool for other sort of purposes, but who knows?
Only time will tell.
Yeah, only time will tell.
Well, do you want to talk about the next topic? Because I haven't heard about this.
I guess speaking of things that have shut down in a sense, there was reports this morning or yesterday that I woke up to that there was a Zelda live action TV show, apparently in the works at Netflix and Nintendo and things like that. And there's sort of a timeline of events that I'm going to take you through here, because it's not just like a direct, like, oh, there was a Zelda thing, it was happening, and now it's not. There's sort of, this sort of gray area with it's all, shutting down and things like that.
Yeah.
So I'm going to start with... In February of 2015, the Wall Street Journal reported that Nintendo was putting together a live-action adaptation of its Legend of Zelda property for Netflix, which was sort of described as like a Game of Thrones, but more targeted towards a family audience.
Okay.
Which is very Nintendo. So, like, they're not going to do anything too hardcore and stuff like that. They are
not going to do the Red Wedding.
No, yeah, they're a family-friendly company at the end of the day and stuff like that. So they're not going to do anything too crazy.
Interesting. I actually
never heard this. Came. Me neither. Yeah, I didn't know that this was sort of happening until, this morning when I was looking it all up and stuff like that. Apparently this information came from an anonymous source close to the project, so potentially someone that worked for either Netflix or Nintendo.
Yeah.
We're not sure. Other outlets, they said, covered the reports and things like that, but, it's 2021 now and we still don't have a live action Zelda Netflix show, so it's sort of, it never materialized past this point. But then it started to get a little bit deeper, because on February 1st of 2021, so what is it, 2 days ago now, a YouTube channel called The Surf Times published an interview with Adam Conover of Adam Ruins Everything, wherein Conover dropped like some sort of juicy gossip about his time at College Humor during, the early 2010s. College Humor is, like, for those that don't know, a relatively popular YouTube channel. That, does sort of skits and things like that. It's more aimed at a college or university sort of audience or demographic. But in this interview, a Twitter user called Supererogatory put two and two together and sort of, unearthed this thing that College Humor might have been the sort of kicking point for Nintendo, not wanting to do all of these property things and stuff like that, because apparently College Humor during the time as well was also planning on doing a claymation skit that was involving Star Fox, which is a Nintendo property, and then Fantastic Mr. Fox, which isn't a Nintendo property.
Wow.
Yeah, so they're planning to do this skit or whatever, and apparently Zelda creator himself, Shigeru Miyamoto, even came to their offices to talk about, like, you know, the details about what was going to happen and stuff like that in the skit. So it seemed like Netflix was, you know, A-okay with it, and they were interested in it. You know, they were at least, you know, sort of willing to hear them out and stuff like that. But apparently, according to Conover, the project was then cancelled about a month later. And then when he asked his boss sort of what happened, his boss said along the lines of someone at Netflix had leaked the Legend of Zelda, you know, live TV show, and they weren't supposed to talk about it. They must have been under very strict NDAs. And then Nintendo freaked out and they pulled the plug on basically everything,
Why?
you know, that they were doing at the time. And it's mainly because Nintendo, you know, is very protective of their intellectual property and stuff like that.
Okay.
You know, because I don't know if you remember, like a couple of years ago, there was a whole debacle with like Nintendo
on YouTube.
Basically, YouTube things. Like if you uploaded anything Nintendo related, they got the profits from it. You couldn't monetize it. Yeah, well, it wouldn't be taken down.
Oh yeah,
they would just copy strike it, and then you couldn't get the monetization for it. They got all the profits for it. That's since changed. As of like last year, I think they changed that. They went back on it, which is a good thing. But yeah. So apparently, because of like, you know, all these sort of leaks and things like that, you know, in early 2010, nothing ever happened.
Wow.
And so now we don't have a Legend of Zelda TV show, unfortunately.
That's a shame.
Which I would have been pretty excited for. You know, that seems like something that would very much work.
Yeah, for sure.
It's such, you know, it's such a big property, and people are such big fans of it and stuff like that. You know. There is always you know, the prospect of there is still the prospect that it can happen again at some point in the future.
I feel like you know, it would, because it's such a big franchise that, you know, and Nintendo like to make money. Like, what company does that? That's the thing,
though, is Nintendo's, as of recent, they've started sort of diversifying, I guess, in what they create and things like that. You know, a couple of years ago, they started making mobile apps of all things. It started with that. Right. That Mario Run game, and then there was another one that came out a couple of years back that was like a Dr. Mario type game.
Oh yeah.
So they've been sort of diversifying, and then, you know, more recently again with Super Nintendo Land and stuff like that in Japan. It's, you know, they're sort of, you know, differentiating, I guess, where they put their eggs in what baskets, I guess. You know.
Oh, they
so it could still happen.
Yeah.
Yeah, it would be really cool to see. And not just, you know, Legend of Zelda, like even if they did other Nintendo properties, like, you know, a Star Fox TV show would be pretty cool. You know, a Mario TV show would be awesome. Really. Yeah, like, it just, you know, Super Metroid would be super cool as well. A lot of people love Super Metroid. So there's so much that they could do with it. But yeah, unfortunately, not this time.
No. But,
Fortunately not.
I'm going to talk about...
yeah, it's sort of a hard segue to go into this next topic.
I'm trying to think of the segue.
I love this topic so much. This has been one of my favorite things of the past week, and I'm going to let Jenz talk about it, because I don't know how much she knows about it. But,
I don't know a whole lot.
Go.
But
oh, man. Okay. You go for it, Vid. You go for it.
Apparently, so RE8, all y'all know that Lady Dimitrescu, I'm
gonna say, Dimitrescu.
She's
is
hot. The main.
I'm just gonna say it.
She's the main lady.
I'm just gonna say
that is.
I'm gonna say what's on everyone's minds.
That is getting all the attention. And look, yes, people think she's hot, but I think people think she's especially hot now. Ever since Capcom has made it official that she is 9'6" tall.
This is
and
it was my favorite thing.
Tall?
My favorite thing to just wake up to. I'm trying to find the tweet now, but I woke up one morning and went to Twitter and saw that Resident Evil 8 had tweeted. Here we go. I found it. the official like Resident Evil Twitter account, where it said, "Your love for Lady Dimitrescu is loud and clear. Here's a message from our Resident Evil Village art director," and I'm not going to say his name because I'm going to butcher it. But along with a very curious fact that you may have wondered about. Hi everyone, I'm the art director on Resident Evil Village. I wanted to use this opportunity to publicly reflect on the outpouring of positivity we've received from the fans on our latest announcement. As a representative of the development team, thank you to all the fans who continue to follow us. Most recently, Lady Dimitrescu and her daughters have received a fair amount of attention, far more than we've anticipated. It's great that they're able to take the spotlight as icons of the Resident Evil Village. Lady Dimitrescu especially has received much fanfare, both domestically and overseas, which has made all of us in development team extremely happy. I hear her height is something of interest. If you include her hat and high heels, she's 2.9 meters, approximately 9 foot 6 inches tall. These bewitching vampiric characters are relentless in their pursuit of Ethan, and I can't wait for you to meet them yourselves when you enter Castle Dimitrescu in May.
Ooh, I'm very excited for it.
It came out of nowhere, and I don't know how much you know, Jenz, but Twitter and Reddit have been blowing up about Lady Dimitrescu, especially just because of A, her height, and then let's be realistic, B, her chest.
Oh,
all right, yeah, this is
Well, more lady, more chest, I guess.
And the amount we're gonna have some memes and stuff that I've liked over the past week or so behind us in the YouTube videos. So if you want to check those out, I definitely recommend heading over there and checking those out.
There's some really good art.
There's been so many good memes and things like that where it's like, I just want big vampire lady to step on me. I just want big vampire lady to hold me. Like, there's just been, and it's just been going further and further and further and getting weirder and weirder and weirder. And it's the one reason why it's my favorite topic of this week, I think.
Hey,
it's just like,
she's getting the love she deserves.
But the thing is too, I don't know if Capcom were expecting this.
Totally not. I mean,
I don't know.
I think some people, they probably expect some people to love her, but not this much.
No. And especially because they're like, they're a Japanese game studio, obviously, and stuff like that. So how they sort of interpret things in Japan and stuff like that is obviously very different than how we interpret things in a more sort of Western audience and stuff like that. So they might have been like looking at it like, our sort of, the Japanese demographic is going to understand this character design a bit more, maybe something along those lines. And then just the Western audience took it to another level.
Simping on main.
I love it so much. Simping on main, yeah.
Look, it's great. It's only positive, so you know what? I'm all for it.
It is. And it's sort of, it brings a really sort of fun light to Resident Evil and stuff like that, and people are able to sort of take the piss and, I've just been having so much fun with it all. It's great. I can't wait.
I'm very excited for it, for sure. All right. Well,
I've already got so many ideas for like YouTube thumbnails that we can use involving her. It's
it's gonna be memes.
Man, the creative juices are flowing, Jenz. The creative juices are flowing.
Wait, what type? What juices?
The creative juices. I said.
Okay.
Creative juices. Yeah, only the creative juices. Chill, chill, bro. Chill.
You chill.
Now you chill, bro. Don't simp on main, all right? I got my alt account for that.
Hang on. We're gonna cool this shit down.
You know what?
Okay.
No. You know what? Here's an idea.
No.
So we've got the the TV podcast coming up. At some point we might do that. At some point in the near future. Simp podcast.
No.
Where we just simp about Lady Dimitrescu every week. A new weekly episode every week. We can just milk the content.
Literally.
Yeah, literally milk the content.
Okay, we gotta stop. We gotta stop.
That's it. Yeah, we gotta stop. All right.
I'm red.
Our sort of final topic for the week. And this is, we didn't mention at the start, but we're gonna do another WandaVision breakdown. For both episodes 3 and 4. We're gonna do both episodes 3 and 4 because last week we recorded later than what we normally do because I was away, so I wasn't available to record on a normal Wednesday. So we're going to go through 2 episodes today.
So it is like, this is a little spoiler warning. because it's hard to not spoil it if you haven't watched it.
Yeah, because like we said in our the first episode we did this sort of breakdown, the episodes are so short that there's not much we can talk about without it delving into spoiler
and theories
territory
and
things like that. So I guess if you haven't watched them yet, episodes 3 and 4, stop listening now. We'll see you next week.
Thanks for listening. Have a great week.
Thanks for listening. That sort of stuff.
Do watch it,
but if you have watched them,
please consider watching WandaVision. It is a beautifully it's and it gets better and better. That's all I'll say. Anyway,
it does. It's getting the first 2 episodes got me hooked. The next one was like, I don't know if the episode 3 was as favorite as the first 2 episodes for me.
No.
But episode 4 just took it to another level again.
Shit.
Oh.
Yeah. All right.
Yeah.
So you have your warning.
Yeah. Spoiler warning starting now. We're going to start talking about it. Episode 3. Jenz.
Yes.
What'd you think?
You know what? Because it's episode 3. All I can remember is episode 4. But episode 3...
Episode 4 really took the spotlight.
Yeah. Was episode 3 where she gave birth?
Yeah. Okay, so basically a little rundown of the episode was episode 2 ended with Wanda being basically 9 months pregnant. Like she'd already had a baby bump. Yes. She was like, ready to pop. Episode 3, she's still heavily pregnant and stuff like
growing
that.
Really big.
No one in the town besides WandaVision and their doctor know that they're pregnant.
Yeah.
Because there's no way that they can explain how they've gotten pregnant within the span of one day. Basically, Geraldine pops over, and Wanda tries to hide from her the fact that she's pregnant, but she just, unfortunately can't anymore because she suddenly goes into labor. Wanda then births twins.
Mm-hmm.
2 twins. Vision then takes the doctor home after the doctor comes back over to just check on Wanda to make sure she's all A-okay and things like this, leaving just Geraldine and Wanda at home.
Mm-hmm.
Wanda then reveals to Geraldine that she was also one half of twins, obviously, having her twin in the MCU being Pietro or Quicksilver. And then Geraldine replies, completely breaking the sort of fabric of being
in the
sort of unknowing to being in this previous time period and things like that. Geraldine just replies, he was killed by Ultron, wasn't he? Which I think, if I remember correctly, is the first major very in your face link to the greater MCU, obviously besides the characters, and
the ads, but
yeah, and the ads, of course, but it's the first massive sort of thing that has been holy shit, and then basically Wanda just freaks out at Geraldine that she knows about Pietro and Ultron, and just repeatedly asks her, how do you know this? Geraldine then sort of seems to snap out of the fact that she knows about Pietro and Ultron and tries to sort of, just get back onto the topic of Wanda having kids.
Mm-hmm.
But then Wanda just throws her, literally, you find in episode 4, throws her through the wall, the fence, and basically just throws her down the main road of Westview, and she pops back into reality, or the real world.
The real world, yeah.
And that's where episode 3 ends. And then you gotta wait a week to episode 4.
Yeah. Oh my god.
It was insane. Yeah, the final 5 minutes of every episode, I feel,
intense.
is just balls to the walls. Intensity. It's,
At the end of that one, I was like, okay, she must be the bad guy infiltrating and trying to get information or something. I thought she was the bad guy for the longest time. And then so we had no idea. Also, as Vision was outside, he was talking to the neighbors who were kind of whispering something.
Yeah, the neighbors in the episode were progressively getting sort of
concerned?
Stranger and stranger. And they were, they seemed at least to be very concerned about what was going on in Wanda and Vision's house and stuff like that.
Well, particularly because of Geraldine. So the lady neighbor was saying that it's
blanking
weird.
on her name. Yeah,
I don't know her name.
I'm blanking on her name.
It's
but I
weird
forget,
that Geraldine doesn't have a husband and she doesn't have a home. She kind of
that's right.
came out of nowhere. That's why they were
she
really
says that Geraldine
concerned.
sort of just pops up. Yeah, that's right.
But that's pretty much episode 3. Nothing really for us to hypothesize except for the fact that she was thrown out of reality.
Yeah, that's what I mean, and the fact that I think episode 3 wasn't as like
it was almost like a two-parter
for me as the other ones.
Yeah,
it was. Yeah, like episode 4 really is the the kicker for episode 3. It sort of ties everything. Episode 4 basically is the thing that ties everything that's happened so far from episode 1 to 3 together. Yeah. Like it is the glue so far of WandaVision.
It's the most amount of information we've got.
Given. It was an information dump. Information dump. Like I said, the last 3 episodes, it's basically just been like you sort of mainly got to pay attention in the last 5 or so minutes, roughly, because that's where it leads into the next episode, or it answers some of the questions they started at the start of the episode.
Yeah,
things like that. But episode 4 was just from woe to go, just info about everything and how it happened and how it came to happen.
Oh, so we'll talk about it.
Episode 4, I think has been my favorite episode so far.
Yeah, me too.
I think.
Episode 4 started differently too. It starts in the real world. Was it in a hospital? No.
Yeah. See, this is what I really liked. It started in a hospital, and it was the showcasing the events of it's called the blip. They called it the blip, all right?
It's the blip, though.
It showcased the aftermath of the blip when everyone started to come back. When Tony snapped his fingers and changed reality back and things like that, everyone that was previously wiped out from Thanos just started coming back. And so it starts off with Geraldine, but a younger Geraldine, I think, in the hospital.
Would it be younger? Because it was she was away for 4 years. The blip period was 4 years. That's what we found out. The blip period was 4 years. Also, this is the first time we know more about the blip, because in Avengers...
Well, not so much. We'd have found out a little bit in the past. In Endgame, they did talk about a little bit about it and things like that, but it was more the effects during the blip, not so much like the aftermath and things like that, I don't think, from memory.
Right. But it was nice to see exactly where this was set as well, because you can kind of place it timeline.
I guess it was just I guess it was more another point of view of what happened during the blip and sort of the aftermath of it and things, because we've only really seen them so far through, I guess, the eyes of the Avengers and the greater Avengers.
Mm-hmm.
So to see it from someone else's point of view is pretty cool. That was crazy. What a crazy way to start the episode off.
And Geraldine is part of SWORD at this stage.
Yeah,
right?
We find out that she now works for SWORD.
That's right. In episode 3, you see a necklace, and it's the SWORD.
Yeah, she was wearing the SWORD necklace.
Forgot to mention that. Anyways.
Which was probably when she went into Westview, into Wanda's reality.
Yeah,
I'm assuming she was wearing her her badge or her lanyard or something like that to identify that, yes, I'm an agent of SWORD, this sort of thing. And then when she transported into that thing, it obviously changed all her outfit and stuff like that, what she was wearing, to be very 60s or 70s inspired.
To suit the timeline.
And changed her lanyard to be, to suit the timeline. And it changed the lanyard to be a necklace, so it sort of suited a bit more, which I think is pretty cool.
Yes. And you can see this happen properly later in episode 4, but we won't skip ahead.
It's also the first episode that's basically taking place almost entirely outside of Westview itself. This episode, you rarely even see much of Wanda and Vision.
Yeah.
It's mainly about the surrounding cast and things like that. Mostly so a couple of returning characters. So Jimmy Woo, which a couple of you guys, if you've seen all the other MCU movies, which I hope you have, he's been in the movies a couple of times, mainly in Ant-Man and the Wasp. He was one of the agents that were trying to, track down Ant-Man and such. And I don't know if you picked up on it, but there was a cute little thing. I saw it afterwards. I didn't really take note of it during the episode, but afterwards, when he first meets Geraldine and he's standing outside the sort of energy field, he shows his badge by flicking his card up, and it seems like it comes out of nowhere. He does like a magic trick to sort of flick this card up. And it was so cute because in Ant-Man and the Wasp, I don't know if he was interrogating Ant-Man or if he was just speaking to him, but he was in their home, and Ant-Man does the exact same card trick and shows him, look at this cool card trick that I used. I don't know what he said exactly, but it's like I'd pick up women or to impress people or things like that. And Jimmy goes, "Can you teach me that?" And now it's 5 or 6 years later, and he's learnt the card trick himself,
God,
and he now uses it all the time. I was like, "That's cute. I love that."
Great.
And then Darcy also returns from the Thor movies, who you'll know. I'm forgetting her actress name.
I need her actress name because I don't know who Darcy is. Wait, who is Darcy in
Darcy
the episode?
is the female character that like does all the scientific stuff in the Thor movies and things. Yes. She was also was it not Mean Girls.
She's in something else.
The TV show. Yeah. Oh, it's gonna annoy me now. But yeah, she returns, and she actually plays a massive part in this episode. Just finding out basically all of the secrets and all of the happenings that are going on in Westview. She is sort of the main person to unfurl all of this info. Yeah, it was a wild ride.
It was a great episode. I'm just trying to think. The reveal of the beekeeper man was great. Because
I was
like trying to figure out who the hell this beekeeper was in episode 2, and
they've been stringing us along for an episode and a half.
Yeah, and then for them to like explain it and why he was in a beekeeper suit, because it was this whole transition of because he was in like this.
He was crawling through like he was crawling through like the sewer in like a hazmat suit in an attempt to basically, what they found out was Wanda was warping reality to basically create Westview and stuff like that. You find out at the start of the episode that like the police rangers that come over and were talking to Jimmy at the start state that there's no town there in reality. There is meant to be no town there at all. There's only been Eastview. And so you can see from the street they're on, you can see Westview clearly, and you can see like the sign that says "Welcome to Eastview," population 2,000, yada yada yada. But as you walk closer and closer to it, you start seeing basically this energy field surrounding it, that no one really wants to pass because they just don't know what's going to happen. So Geraldine was just like, I'll do it, and she just walks through at the start. Yeah, she just pops in, and then Jimmy's like, "Oh shit!" And that basically starts off the whole episode of them trying to track down what happened to Geraldine, and such. And so they start sending in, drones and things like that. The drones, we find out that the helicopter, from I think episode 2 that crashed, was Geraldine's drone that she sent in.
Yep.
That converted itself into a helicopter to fit the time more, an RC helicopter. They sent in another bunch of drones that were also lost. They started sending in people, but the people that they sent in, turned out to be the neighbors, they found out. So all the neighbors were agents that were working for SWORD. And then they tried to send someone in through like a sewer pipe, I think it was. To try and like bypass the energy field. They thought the energy field was just like, oh, maybe it just terminates at the ground level. Maybe if we go under it, we might be able to sneak in and actually get some proper information. But no, it goes all the way basically through to what I would assume would be the core of the Earth. And so they send this guy in a hazmat suit, and once he transports past the energy fields, it turns him into a beekeeper suit. And that's how you find out that the beekeeper comes up at the end of the sewer pipe in episode 2. It's just another SWORD agent. Yeah. And it's, there's so many revelations, so many answers.
They've answered a lot of the questions I was wondering.
Yeah. I cannot wait.
I hate when TV shows
cannot wait for
don't do
episode
that.
5.
Me too. I don't know what episode 5 is going to be like. But
no, me neither.
I've been loving this whole series. I love it so much.
It's been a wild ride.
Do you reckon?
And there's only if we get episode 5.
Yeah.
We get episode 5 this week, and then there's only going to be another 3 or 4 episodes, I think.
Yeah, I was gonna say, do you reckon this is just the one season? That's
I don't think they're going to do a season 2. Damn. I don't think they can. Yeah, because I think they're going to more utilize Wanda as like a mainstay in the MCU and things like that.
Yeah, I think
someone
did mention
she's also going to appear. She's also going to appear in the Doctor Strange movie.
Oh
which I think other than Spider-Man, because I love Spider. Like I've got a Spider-Man mug here with me right now. You have a lot
of Spider-Man stuff.
So much. But other than Spider-Man, I think my most anticipated next phase MCU movie is the Doctor Strange movie.
Doctor Strange was great.
It's called Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness. Like that just sounds like a comic book title to me. Like, oh my god, I cannot wait for that film. It is going to be, yeah.
I also like Benedict Cumberbatch.
It's going to be insane. So good. Yeah, he's great. He is, I think, the perfect fit for Doctor Strange himself. Yeah. Like when they first showed all the images of him, like in his outfit and things, he looked identical to the way that Doctor Strange is drawn in the comics. Yeah. Identical. It's uncanny how similar he is. Yeah.
Gonna be good.
And he's just a great all-round actor as well. Like it's the best of both worlds, the best of both worlds. Yeah, I think that's she's meant to be appearing in that and probably a couple of other movies as well, I would assume.
Yeah. I think someone did mention that this series ties in like really well into the whole MCU movie.
Yeah.
Like whatever's coming up.
This is literally, it's the start of the phase. So I think we're at the phase 4. This is the start of phase 4. So it directly ties, the events that happened in the end of phase 3 or phase 3 to what is going to happen in phase 4. So we can already tell that Sword is going to be a major player in all the happenings of phase 4, which is a very good thing, I think, because like I said 2 episodes ago when we talked about WandaVision previously, Sword deals with more interterrestrial sort of like larger than life things than what S.H.I.E.L.D. does. Mm-hmm. So they're going to be dealing with the rise of X-Men, the rise of the Fantastic Four that are coming, all that sort of side of things, because a lot of mutants are very powerful. So they're going to want to keep their eyes on them and keep them, sort of thing. And there was also a thing as well, Sword, in the episode 4, it states that Sword was developing like Sentinel technology. And I don't know if you know what Sentinels are, Jenz, but Sentinels are basically... In the X-Men comics, Sentinels are like these giant robot mech things that basically hunt mutants and things. They have like this sort of sensor inside them that can track where mutants are, and they hunt them down and stuff like that. And so hearing that Easter egg be planted leads me to believe that X-Men are just around the corner. Right. Just around the corner. If not even in this series, like they could pop up in this series at some point, which would blow my mind. Oh, that would get the juices flowing, if you know what I mean.
Wow, so many juices this episode.
Don't laugh. Yeah, this is episode 5, the juice episode. Welcome.
Boy. Well, I think.
Yeah.
That's pretty much all I have to say about that episode. It was
good. Is there any other juices you want to follow up with, Jenz? Or
no.
Not really? No?
Not really.
Yeah. Well, yeah, like you said, I guess that's sort of all of it, I guess, for this week. Nothing else extra you want to add, really, at the end of the episode?
No, not really, except, if y'all want to, what are they calling it? Rate. No. Review?
Subscribe?
No.
Like?
No. Rate? Is it rate?
Smash that like button? I don't know. Yeah.
Thumbs up?
Just listen to the podcast. Thumbs up the podcast. Like the podcast. Subscribe to the podcast. Sub to the YouTube channel. All that jazz.
Leave a review. That's probably what I was thinking about.
Yeah, that's the one. If you're on iTunes, you can leave a review on the podcast and stuff like that.
That'd be nice.
Always appreciated.
It is.
Helps
I think
us out
you can
a lot.
be anonymous. You can just put 5 stars and be done with it. That's all.
Oh, that's nice. Yeah.
I think.
But yeah.
If you're doing 1 star, then don't bother.
Yeah, that's all right. You can keep that to yourself, I think.
Alright.
Yeah, I think we'll wrap up the episode there for today, guys.
Yeah.
Thank you for tuning in and listening. Thank you for joining me once again, Jenz. I appreciate it.
Likewise. Lovely to talk.
And
we'll see you next week.
Well, thank you guys. Goodbye.
Bye bye.